Serving the smart TV market, SportsGrid's real-time data transforms viewers into informed sports enthusiasts. Get the best in game live coverage during all the games, as well as the most in-depth pregame previews from hosts like Scott Farrell, Donnie Rightside, Ben Stevens, Gabe Moritzi, and many more. To find out where you can watch SportsGrid, go to sportsgrid.com/watch. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
And now it's time for Southern California's sports fishing voice. Let's talk hookup. For the next 2 hours, join Pete Gray, Rock Cod Rick Maxa, Corey Sandin, and this week's special expert guest for fishing information, new techniques to catch more fish, and the most current scoop on what's happening in the water. Let's Talk Hookup is sponsored in part by Royal Polaris, the world's finest long-range sports fisher. By Ford, the official truck of Let's Talk Hookup, and Shimano Rods and Reels. Fish with the best. Shimano. Get ready for the fastest 2 hours on radio with the hosts of Let's Talk Hookup, Pete Gray, Rock Cod Rick Maxa, and Corey Sandin.
Good morning, anglers, and welcome to Let's Talk Hookup. I'm Pete Gray with Rock Cod Rick Maxa. We're in the world headquarters of Let's Talk Hookup here right next to the San Diego Landings in Point Loma, and we have a great guest for you today. Mr. Todd Schwede is here, Marine Surveyor, Marine Investigator, and author of a great book, Rockin' the Boat. So we're going to be talking a lot about that and more. You stay tuned. This is Southern California's sport fishing voice. It's Let's Talk Hookup on the Let's Talk Hookup app, SportsGrid Radio Network, YouTube, and Facebook Live. And 1098.
San Diego, we want you to start every day with the charge you need. So your San Diego County Ford dealers are giving you this home charger and covering the cost of standard installation. 24/7 live support, the Ford Power Promise. With a brand new 2024 Mustang Mach-E or a 2024 F-50 Lightning, you can have electric vehicle confidence from day one. Only at your San Diego County Ford dealers, they'll be glad to hook you up. Been thinking of purchasing a new outboard? Don't delay and purchase a brand new Yamaha outboard and a great deal during Yamaha's Wide Awake for Spring sales event. From now until December 6, 2024, eligible new 25 to 2.5 horsepower outboards come with up to $500 in dealer credit. New Yamaha 450 to 425 horsepower outboards include 7 years of coverage protection, and new 350 to 30 horsepower outboards come with 6 years of coverage protection. No need to delay during Yamaha's Wide Awake for Spring sales event. Visit your local Yamaha dealer today. Yamaha, reliability starts here. Authorized December 6, 2024. Subject to change, other restrictions and conditions apply. What models included? New 2.5 to 25 horsepower four-stroke outboard is dealer credit up to $500 based on horsepower. Ford's MSRP value of goods and/or services purchased at the authorized participating dealer that sold the outboard at no extra cost to consumer. New 425 to 450 horsepower is a 24-month Yamaha extended added 60-month factory limited warranty. New 30 to 350 horsepower is a 36-month Yamaha extended service added to 36-month factory limited warranty. The authorized participating Yamaha outboard dealer for detail. Cannot be used with any other Yamaha.
Many years ago, Baja pioneer Bob Van Wormer found the area he called the Great Fish Trap in the East Cape of southern Baja and built what is now regarded as the premier East Cape resorts of Palmas de Cortez and Playa del Sol. Today, following in their father's footsteps, Bob's sons, Bobby, Chucky, and Eddie, have taken Palmas de Cortez and Playa del Sol to new levels with the largest sport fishing fleet in Mexico, a luxurious spa, and top-of-the-line resort amenities. Van Wormer Resorts have become a destination for travelers worldwide. But for us, Palmas de Cortez and Playa del Sol are just a short 2-hour flight away. No other tropical fishing destination offers the experience and value that you'll find at Palmas de Cortez and Playa del Sol. Now you can plan your Baja fishing vacation quick and easy by visiting VanWarmerResorts.com. And when you're ready to book, it's quick and easy. Or simply call 877-777-TUNA for more information. Van Wormer Resorts, the East Cape's finest.
Welcome back to Let's Talk Hookup. What a fun show today is going to be with Todd.
Yeah.
Kind of an interesting take
A different
on something.
twist.
Yeah, totally. I'm pumped, and I can only imagine a lifetime of Marine Surveyor and Investigator, all of the goods, the bad, the uglies, the fun. I'm really looking forward to it. I think today's going to be a lot of fun.
He's like the Columbo of marine, the marine world, right? Good morning, Todd.
Good morning. How are you?
And of
Thanks.
course, you're welcome we'd love to have you. So this is the book you can see on YouTube and Facebook Live. Here, let me switch the cameras here. That would help, right? You can actually see it. You could see actually on the outdoor camera, there's not a lot of action at the San Diego landings these days.
I was joking with Pete during the break. He always talk about, where the world headquarters is the busy landings in Point Loma. It's not a busy day.
Not a busy day.
Nice,
You saw
nice
by the cameras
mellow,
there.
Yeah,
it's a beautiful day.
Angler left yesterday. We had a big long range day the day previous to that. Four boats going, lots of long range trips. Very good fishing on the long range front this year.
Yeah.
Both a mix of that big tuna that's biting on the lower banks and also that really good yellowfin tuna that we had all year that's kind of slid down a little further, and still some wahoo. So some very good long range fishing going on, but a little bit starting to get a little bit quiet on the local front.
Yeah, no, but as you saw from that, but there's high action in the studio here.
Big time.
The studio camera. Todd, welcome, and tell us about your book. What caused you to write this book, Rockin' the Boat, Adventures of a Marine Investigator?
Well, I've been at this a long time.
Yeah.
And coming from a background of boat building, I wound up in a spot where I had to get out of the boat yard business because of the toxic chemicals that affected me. And somebody suggested that with my background, I'd probably make a pretty good marine surveyor. So I went around and knocked on all the doors, and everybody said, no. We don't need anybody right now.
Including Ken Frankie's dad.
Including Ken Frankie's
Really?
dad.
Yeah.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah. And, but I wound up with a fellow named Tony Tillett, who is the Lloyd's of London agent down at the 10th Avenue Terminal. And Tony was this British guy, and he was quite a character. And he said, well, matey, I suppose I can take you in here, and I'll teach you big ships. And I said, well, I'll develop a yacht business and small sport fishing boat business for you, because that's my background. And that turned into an 8-year stint with Captain Tillett.
Cool.
And then I opened my own business in 1992 and decided to focus primarily on insurance claims work.
Interesting.
Accident and damage investigations, sinkings, fires, collisions, explosions.
So not so much marine survey, but more investigation for insurance purposes.
Yeah, well, it evolved into the investigation part of it. You have to get grounded as a surveyor. You have to do the condition valuation work to understand what it is that you're looking at. And over time, I got to a spot where I said, I'm going to all these seminars and getting educated and getting all this training and all these other disciplines. We're going to focus on insurance claims work. So that's the direction that the company went, and it kind of mushroomed out into stolen boat investigations. And then I discovered infrared thermography and started doing infrared thermography on composite boats. And
what is infrared thermography?
Right. Well, you guys are familiar with FLIR cameras.
Sure.
So I could tell you long stories about how I got into it, but suffice it to say that
but read the book, you can find out.
Yeah, there's a couple of good stories in there about infrared. But what I discovered was that instead of taking a hammer and tapping on the laminate, like you see surveyors and boatyards do all the time, that you could use an infrared camera and look right through the laminate, right through the composite. And what made it different was that when the equipment got cheap enough so that it was handheld, I was one of the first adopters of that, an old Raytheon IR camera that was colorized. Infrared is black and white typically, but Raytheon colorized it. So all of a sudden you could visually see what the delaminations were and what the water intrusion was and what have you. So I started going around the country to surveyor conferences and marine investigator conferences and touting the wonders of infrared thermography, inadvertently teaching all of my competitors. So
like, wait a minute.
So as the technology developed and the cameras got cheaper, I kept upgrading to a better quality camera to stay in front of the curve. And it was just quite an interesting ride, because that thermography took me all around the country.
But from an industry where guys were literally knocking on the side of a hull with a hammer to now you're using high-end technology and spotting exactly where the problem is. You're not missing any one little thing. You're finding exactly all those things.
Well, the technology is really good at that sort of stuff. The primary reason I focused on it was that we were seeing boat yards. Let's say your boat had an accident. You ran into a pier and you caved the bow in or something like that, or another boat. What the boat yards were doing at the time was, well, we've got to take the whole interior out of the boat in order to find the damage.
Right.
So a 1 foot hole suddenly became a $50,000 removal expense. So I started looking at it with the infrared and could literally see how far the delamination or the disbonding went. So we take a grease pencil and map it out on the hull of the boat to give the boatyard a map as to how far they need to cut.
Yeah. Now you were telling me about tapping you were just talking about tapping the hull and checking out things like that. You were talking about how some marine surveyors don't really know what they're doing when it comes to tapping the hull, right?
Well, I don't want to disparage those guys, except that if you're just walking around the boat kind of banging on it with a hammer and using audio as your source for your information, you're missing the whole tactile information that comes when you put your hand on the hull of the boat and tap it, because you can feel it with your fingers. So if there's a disbond, you can feel it over here. If you think you're going tap, 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 thud, thud, thud.
Yeah.
The question is, how far does the thud go?
Yeah.
You know, if you don't have your hand on it when you're doing it, you really don't.
You're just getting part of the picture.
You're getting half the information.
Yeah. That's interesting. So in the book, Rocking the Boat, first I want to throw out a big thank you to our listener, and I apologize. I don't remember who it was. It was one of our regular listeners, and thank you for introducing me to the book. And Todd, and he wrote and he said, hey, and this just shows you, I listen to you guys when you send emails to me and say, hey, I think this guy would make a great guest. And one of our listeners, and if you want to send us a text through the Let's Talk Hookup app and tell us, yeah, that was me. Thank you very much for introducing me to Todd. And because I've been enjoying the book, first of all, because there's some fascinating stories, but some of the stories involve a lot of people that a lot of us know right here.
Yeah.
Like Bob Butler right here.
Really?
From,
and
Big
Rob.
Yeah.
Big Rob.
Yeah, lots, but a lot of good stuff. But one of the most fascinating, well, no, they're all fascinating. There's a lot of stories. One of the ones that was just like, oh my God, did you really do this? Was when you went to Puerto Vallarta.
Yeah.
And to the El Cid, and you had a little confrontation maybe with some connected people down there, right?
Yeah, I've had a lot of adventures like that.
Yeah. In Mexico. And that's the unbelievable thing to me, is that you take on these duties down in Mexico, and it's like, are you out of your mind?
Well, in hindsight,
yeah.
As I was putting the book together and recalling these stories, I can't believe I actually did that.
Yeah. So the one at El Cid in Mazatlan, you were running down a supposedly stolen boat.
Yeah,
so tell us about that.
Puerto Vallarta.
Yeah, Puerto Vallarta, excuse me.
And it's a great story. It's much more involved than what I put in the book.
Yeah.
But in a nutshell, a guy reported his boat stolen down in Puerto Vallarta.
You remember what kind of boat it was?
It was a 48-foot Carver or something like that. It was a power boat. It was an older yacht. And reported it stolen. Well, of course, who's going to steal an old power boat?
Yeah.
That's question number one that comes up. So the insurance company hires us to investigate it. We did one of our stolen boat wanted posters and sent it out by facsimile, and the phone rang almost immediately. And there's this guy on the other end. He says, "Oh, senor, I know where that boat is, but I need that $20,000 reward." I go, well, no recovery, no reward. But if you know where the boat is, I'll come see you. So I called the insurance company, and they said, "Yep, get on an airplane, go run that down." So I get down to the Puerto Vallarta Marina, and I'm looking for a guy named Pepe. I have no idea who Pepe is.
Right.
So I'm kind of pawing through the marina. It turns out he was the dock master.
Yeah.
All right. So I go in there and I introduce myself and I held up the poster. He says, "Oh." And he goes and he turns the closed sign on the door. He says, come with me to the back room. So we go in the back room. He says, I know where that boat is, but I need the money. And I said, no, doesn't work that way. So we kind of went back and forth for a little while. And eventually I said, look, how about if I give you $1,000 to rent a Ponga so that I can drive around the area by water? And he says, okay, fine. So I peeled off, some hondos and
you're packing this reward money in cash down there.
Well, you never take the reward money with you. The reward is only for the safe recovery of the boat.
That boat's tied back up Shelter Island, then he gets paid.
Yeah, and once that boat's recovered and it's secured, then the reward is in play. But until the boat is actually recovered safely, So if it's stripped, you're not getting the full reward. So I get in this Ponga and I'm kind of cruising around the marina and I don't see anything. And I go back to this little kind of cove where there's a condo complex. And I turn the corner to get in there and I see the boat.
Clear as day.
There it is.
There it is. So I drive down to it and I noticed right out of the box, it was chained to the dock. Well, that's odd. So I tie the Ponga up and I get out with my camera, and my job is to look at the hull ID number and confirm that that's the boat that we're looking for.
This isn't the same model. This is the one.
Yeah. So I get on the dock with my camera and I'm taking pictures of the hull ID number on the transom. And all of a sudden, 4 guys come out of this condominium with, suit coats, sport coats on, bulges under their arms. And I'm going, well, okay. So I'm holding the water poster up and I said, this boat is stolen. Who's the owner? Who owns this condo? I need to run the, I'm being not aggressive, but I want the information.
Yeah.
And they go, no. And the finger starts going in my chest and they literally backed me up to the end of the dock, grabbed the flyer from me, grabbed my camera from me and pushed me into the water. And so I went, I don't, you could see the guns under their arms. Right?
Yeah.
I don't want anything. Yeah. So I swam across the little cove to the condo manager's office.
Fortunately, didn't get eaten by a crocodile.
Yeah,
no, exactly. So I go into the condo manager's office, and this nice little guy sitting there, and I said, I need to know who owns that condo. He says, oh, senor, no. These are really bad men. And I said, well, let's call the police. He said, no. The police know the owner of this boat. You're in trouble. And he says, I tell you, if they send somebody with a car, do not get in the car. I said, why? He said, because in Mexico, in this place, if you have a problem, you are the problem.
Yeah. So what ended up happening?
Well, as I'm talking to him, sure enough, here comes a local police car cruising down the street. And now I'm getting a little nervous.
Yeah.
And I'm dripping wet.
Yeah.
And I thought, I need to get out of here. So
yeah.
I used his phone and I called a contact that I happened to have in my pocket. I had just done a job with the Coast Guard Special Investigations Office in Los Angeles. I happened to have this guy's card. I called him on the phone. And I said, look, I'm standing here. Here's the deal. I've got the stolen boat. He says, I could hear him clacking on his keys. He says, listen to me very carefully. You need to go back to your hotel as soon as you can. Get out of Dodge. Put your head down in the cab and take the next airplane to anywhere in the United States.
Get out of there. And that's what you did, right?
That's what I did.
That's exactly what you did.
Hot-footed it down the back alleys. Got to unfortunately, it was only a couple of blocks to the hotel.
Don't mess with that one.
Yeah, I threw everything in the bag. Called my wife and I said, look, I'm getting out of Dodge. I'm going to take the next plane to anywhere.
And you're probably here because of that.
Yeah,
I am.
Yeah.
What a story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's just one of the stories that's in there. It's like and of course he goes into more detail, but as you say, there's more detail that you know. But there's lots of great stories. I mean, we'll get into a few of them here and there. But as you can hear, we have a great show lined up for today. Todd's a wealth of knowledge. You want to ask him about how to take care of your boat. This is the guy, right?
Yeah. Talk about somebody who has a lifetime of boats and seeing problems and seeing benefits and knowing what helps a boat to sail, knowing what stops a boat from selling. I mean, a lifetime of investigation of boating.
Yeah.
How cool to have Todd here this morning.
For sure. Great show for you today.
No doubt. It's going to have a lot of fun. And if you want to join us, man, we want to hear from you. Give us a call this morning at 213-432-1090. Again, 213-432-1090 is our phone number. If you want to reach us on the phones or send us a text. Already have had several really good text message questions come through. And if you want to do that, that's only available through our Let's Talk Hookup app. That's a free download, easy to find, and it's such an easy way to listen to Let's Talk Hookup. All of the shows are archived on there. You could listen on your way to work. Todd passes out some killer little bit of boat info and you want to go back and check it out. All of the shows are archived on that Let's Talk Hookup app. And again, it's the only way to send in your text message questions. Make sure you include your contact info as well, a name and a phone number, because if you win the big prize at the end of the show, we want to make sure to get it to you. And what a fun prize we have today. One lucky caller or texter is going to win a copy of Todd's great book, Rockin' the Boat, in a great boat, as you can see it on the camera here. Todd holding it up. And in addition to that copy of the book, you're also going to get to go fishing on a full day trip on board the Liberty at a Fisherman's Landing. What a killer prize for one lucky caller.
How about that?
Or
a little
texter.
Double prize there.
You got it. And we're going to determine the winner as we do with our prize coin at the end of the show. And we'll have one potential winner from all the callers that make it on the air, one potential winner from all the text messages that get read on the air, and then we'll determine who's going to win that by the flip of the coin. And when we come back, we got a lot of Let's Talk Hookup coming your way. We're going to be taking your phone calls. We're going to be reading your texts. We're going to be getting catch reports and more. You stay tuned. You're listening to Southern California's sport fishing voice. This is Let's Talk Hookup on the Let's Talk Hookup app and the Sports Grid Radio Network.
Hi, this is Christy Wheeler with Dawson & Associates Insurance, your full-service agency specializing in boat insurance, including charter, commercial, and personal use boats, business insurance, and travel insurance. We work hard to get you the most coverage for the best prices and guarantee the lowest rates available on all the travel plans we offer. So give us a call today at Dawson & Associates Insurance at 619-460-5615 for a free quote today.
It's time for the Power Pro 30-second seminar. I like catching big fish, and I like smaller reels too. How do I make sure that I have the capacity to land the big one? I fill my reels with Power Pro Max Quattro. It's 25% thinner than standard Power Pro, so you get more line on that small reel. Power Pro has a complete series of highly effective lines, including the brand new Power Pro Depth Hunter Offshore with different colors every 100 feet. Perfect for flatfall fishing. Want to learn more? Check powerpro.com.
For quality, the Islander out of Fisherman's Landing is a favorite among anglers. But Islander Charters is much more than great fishing. The quality of the captains and crew, as well as the great meals and service, speak for themselves. Comfortable staterooms, a super clean and well taken care of boat are just a few of the reasons the Islander is so popular. The Islander specializes in 1.5 to 5 day fishing. Experience the Islander difference. Visit IslanderSportFishing.com.
Give your boat the love it deserves and install a custom Sea Deck kit from Blue Seas Fabrication. Blue Seas is the West Coast's only certified Sea Deck fabricator and installer. Sea Deck upgrades the look and feel of any boat, old or new. Sea Deck non-skid decking adds comfort, convenience, safety, and value. Let the experts from Blue Seas Fabrication custom fit your deck, bridge, and interiors with stylish, durable, stain-resistant, and easy-to-clean Sea Deck. Check BlueSeasFabrication.com and enhance your fishing experience.
For your next fishing adventure, check Point Loma Sport Fishing. They offer half-day and full-day trips daily, perfect for families and the novice or seasoned fishermen. Point Loma Sport Fishing also offers overnight to multi-day trips, targeting the best of seasonal catches. Visit PointLomaSportFishing.com, where you can purchase tickets online and get more information on the trips available, or call 619-223-1627. Want to go fishing? Point Loma Sport Fishing has you covered.
Welcome back to Let's Talk Hookup. Again, having a great time here this morning with Todd. Lots of fun, lots of info. Phone calls are already pouring through. Text as well. Again, It's going to be a lot of fun and a different twist to the show, but something that we all do so much of. It's going to be really cool.
Yeah, it's super fun. Todd's endless storyteller, I can tell you that. But let's talk for a minute about what causes problems in boats. I mean, you look at the marina here, look at a lot of boats on the trailers and stuff. One of the biggest things, the worst thing for a boat, I'm guessing, would be sitting, right?
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
You hit the nail right on the head.
Yeah.
The biggest source of insurance claims that we get are people that haven't used their boats.
Yeah.
Oh.
Then they come down and they've got their cooler and they've got their sandwiches and the family's all set and ready to go, and they get on it and they turn the key and it goes click.
Yeah.
You know,
I don't know what happened. It worked perfect when I parked it.
Yeah.
Like a year ago.
Yeah.
A year ago. Exactly.
Last
So-
4th of July, it was perfect. This
Yeah.
one's not running.
yeah, that's exactly the problem, is lack of use.
Yeah.
You know, you need to exercise the equipment, exercise the machinery.
Yeah.
Change, the water in the tank, the fuel, and you need to burn that fuel out. We were talking briefly about fuel problems.
Right.
And gasoline blend, specifically in California, but it's everywhere now. And they've added so many chemicals to the fuel to make it clean, a burn cleaner, that if it sits in the tank, it phase separates.
Uh-huh.
So the chemicals actually can be seen if you put them in a mason jar or something like that and look at them. They'll actually separate. So the alcohol blend goes to the bottom. So you come down to your boat, you go to use it, it sucks from the bottom of the tank.
Sure.
Now you're burning alcohol straight through the system.
And not only that, but it degrades hoses. I mean, all kinds of stuff.
All sorts of stuff happens.
So how do you avoid these things?
Use your boat.
That's the key.
The
so
key
if you
is
use the
using-
boat, all these problems go away.
Well, you should at least start it, run it up to temperature.
Yeah.
On a fairly regular basis, once a month, once every 2 months, at the max.
Right.
You just
What if it's on a trailer at home? Same thing?
Same thing with respect to the fuel.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Sits on your driveway.
Yeah.
And
I mean, we're getting to the time of year where people maybe start to use their boats a little bit lesser. Hopefully not. Hopefully they take advantage of the good halibut fishing or the good bay fishing. But this is the time of year where the private boat on the trailer starts to get used a little bit less. You gotta ear muff it. You gotta hose connect to it. Whatever it is, you gotta keep things lubed up and running.
you got to keep them running and exercise them. That's the most important thing, is use your boat.
Yeah, use your boat. One of the unbelievable things, and when you read the book, you'll realize this: how many crooks get away with stuff when it comes to insurance fraud. It blows my mind.
Oh, I need an example now.
It's unbelievable.
Yeah, it is.
Right?
Yeah,
Todd?
yeah. Oh,
I mean, you've seen it all, right?
I've seen a lot of people ask me this question all the time. What percentage of insurance claims involve fraud?
Get a little closer to that mic.
And the answer to that is, it depends on what kind of fraud you're talking about.
Yeah.
The most common is, I need to bury my deductible. They go to the shop, say, well, I got a $500 deductible. Can you add that into the estimate?
Right.
That's the most, and we call that soft fraud.
Soft fraud.
But the other kinds of fraud get a little deeper.
Yeah.
They get a little more devious.
Like when somebody sinks their boat in deep water and there's no recovery, right?
Lots of sinkings.
Yeah.
Lots of
and
sinkings.
sometimes you have to prove it, right? You have to prove there was fraud.
Yeah, that's the problem.
So the key is, if you're gonna do fraud and you're gonna sink your boat, just make sure it's deep enough and that the boat doesn't float.
That's
right.
Yeah, and there's a couple of stories in there about how people have decided to make their old 60s vintage Chris Craft Constellation disappear.
Yes.
That's got liens on it at the marina.
Right.
Like, we're not going to check to see whether or not you've got outstanding
Sure.
invoices.
Yeah.
And you just start out sinking it in 1,200 feet of water, but they don't consider the tidal swing, the wind and the wave set.
Right.
The drift
That it might be a wooden
happens.
boat and float.
Yeah, like you got a cork.
Yeah.
So you have to be pretty efficient about it. So, we've had a couple of them where they started in 1,200 feet of water and they wound up in 450 feet of water.
Yeah. And that's easy recovery.
Well, not easy recovery, but it's certainly investigatable.
Yeah. And what's unbelievable to me too in reading the stories is how to what lengths the insurance companies will go to prove that this
Verify.
fraud.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, spending hundreds of thousands of dollars to do this recovery, right?
Wow.
Well, yeah, they'll spend that kind of money if they feel that there is a breach of the policy, and the core to that is there's always exclusions in everybody's policy. Nobody reads the exclusions.
Right.
Nobody reads the coverages.
Right.
They shop premiums. I want the cheapest policy because
Right.
everybody hates insurance companies.
Right.
Right. So they don't want to spend that money. So they think that their premium goes into a savings account that they think is a repair account.
Yeah.
Right. And that's not how it works.
Yeah.
So if we suspect that there's some nefarious thing going on, depending on who the insurance company is. A lot of insurance companies these days just go, you know what? I don't want to bother.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that
It's not worth the hundreds of thousands of dollars that we need to spend to figure this policy out. Let's just pay them.
Well, and it really started during COVID.
Uh-huh.
Two things actually triggered this. Insurance companies started to go what's called a all risk policy. So an all risk policy means you're covered for pretty much everything,
Yeah.
with the exception of that exclusion paragraph.
Uh-huh.
Which
Right.
is always in there.
And today you need to read that inclusion paragraph because most boat insurances today do not cover Mexico.
Wow.
They used to cover down to Punta Banda.
Right. Exactly.
You've got to make sure, like, for example, I had insurance with Boat US,
Mhm.
and they don't cover into Mexico unless you call them every time you go down there and
Right.
say, I'm
Outta
going.
here.
Yeah.
Wow.
So you need to make sure that if you're going to the Coronado Islands or you're going out,
Sure.
you're not
And that's
necessarily covered in Mexico.
And something that you took for granted years ago.
years ago.
Yeah.
And now that's changed in the last couple of years.
Okay.
That's a shift in the industry. There's
Yeah.
been this huge consolidation since COVID.
Yeah.
So you had all these venture capitalists coming in, buying different insurance companies and putting them under new umbrellas, and everybody tightened their policies up, tightened their limits. And that's what you're
Right.
referring to as a limit of navigation.
Yes.
And that's in everybody's policy.
yeah.
You're insured while you're navigating in.
In
I
these
had a
waters.
claim yesterday, a fire down in Cabo. And I looked at the declarations policy, and the limit of navigation is Rio Santo Tomas.
Right. Which is just south of Ensenada, right?
Yeah. I go, whoa, we're going to have a problem.
Yeah. No coverage.
Yeah.
No coverage for you.
And I don't get into coverages.
Sure, that's not your
I
job.
don't read the policies. All we do is gather facts,
Yeah.
information and facts.
Yeah. That's what an investigator does.
Yeah.
Well, hey, phones are packing up.
Yeah.
You want to get through 213-432-1090. Texts are coming through. Why don't we do it, Rick?
You got it. Why don't we start it off with the phones? And Brady, who's calling us from Newport this morning. Brady, good morning and welcome to Let's Talk Hookup.
Hey guys, how's it going?
Great.
How's it going, Todd?
Hello.
Really informative. Maybe back to the Marty Milner days. Like, I mean, sometimes we get insurance guys, and but this is really informative. Now, when I looked up, I thought it might have been MLPA related, Marine, but yeah, that's a different story. But I'll ask Todd about this. In 1963, my dad's buddy and his son built a concrete hull sailboat for troll fishing. Would you have tapped on that hull and said it was okay?
No.
Because they sank that sucker. Sank that sucker out past 8 Mile in Santa Barbara Harbor, and they didn't return. They were arky-toothies with action, but
Yeah.
what do you think about
So go ahead, Todd.
concrete hull?
Well, that was the Faro cement era.
Right.
And the problem with Faro
Short-lived era.
Yeah, the backyard Faro cement era is what we called it. And the problem is that Faro cement, easy to use, easy to work with. Everybody thought that was, a great, quick, cheap solution. The problem was that when you lay it up with chicken wire as your structural backbone, concrete's porous.
Sure.
So the chicken wire starts to dissolve and corrode and then cracks the concrete. And all of those boats have kind of phased out of the fleet.
I'm sure.
And once you start cracking concrete, it doesn't float very well.
I didn't know that was a thing ever.
Ferrule cement?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. No, that was an era there.
I didn't know that.
It was, because you think about it, it's like you lay up some chicken wire, and you blow concrete onto a form and stuff.
Yep.
Easy peasy.
Sure.
Right? Super strong for a little while, right?
Yeah, well, they were all
obviously
backyard boats.
I don't have a backyard in shipbuilding.
Yeah.
But boy, I've heard of most of the things. I didn't know that kind of concrete. That's a trip. That's
that was a thing.
Okay, that's cool.
Yeah, not too much anymore.
From my perspective, I'm glad most of those boats have aged out.
Yeah,
because they're always a headache if they sink, and they're pretty much not insurable anymore.
Yeah,
and I'm not in the underwriting business, but I kind of doubt that anybody's insuring. They sink. That's a pollution problem.
Yeah,
that's a salvage problem. Sure. That's a very expensive, costly problem.
Yeah. I have a great text here from Matt, and he says, "Morning, guys. Great show. Question for Todd. Besides getting a boat surveyed for sale, would you survey to check conditions of a boat done on a regular basis? Would that be called a survey? So if you own a boat and it's a little older, would you hire a surveyor to just kind of check the condition out and make sure everything's up for?
Yeah, it depends on the boat owner's level of knowledge and his familiarity with systems and equipment on the boat. If you don't feel comfortable, then by all means hire a qualified surveyor. It should be a member of the National Association of Marine Surveyors, NAMS, or SAMS, the Society of Accredited Marine Surveyors. They need to be accredited and credentialed.
Now, your company, your son actually does marine survey, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And what's the name of the company?
Todd and Associates.
Todd and Associates. Very appropriate.
Very complicated.
And you're located right at Shelter Island Boatyard or Safe Harbor Boatyard and Shelter on Shelter Island. Yeah. So if you want a good surveyor, I'd say he probably taught his son a couple of tricks.
Lifetime of knowledge. I'd say that's a good mentor for sure.
We also have a couple other guys and a lot of associates scattered around the country that we work with. But Bill Trenkle works in my office. He's a marine engineer. Spent 23 years in the America's Cup with Dennis Conner.
Yeah.
So he was in charge of all their boat building programs, what have you. So he's taken to the infrared equipment, looking at all the carbon fiber high-end racing boats.
You know what's fascinating about it? This guy's done it all. We had a conversation in his office, which is very interesting in itself, seeing all the different pictures, about his boat building experience with Carl Eichenlaub, one of the legends of sailboats.
Yeah.
You worked for Carl?
I did.
For many years, right?
Yeah. I actually came to California driving a flatbed truck.
From Cleveland, Ohio.
Throwing
it out to my brother-in-law, John. Yeah.
With a 55-gallon drum of gasoline and a 55-gallon drum of acetone strapped to the back of this Ford cab forward flatbed during the first Iranian gas shortage of 1973. They couldn't get acetone or gasoline out here. So Carl's partner was my parents' next door neighbor, also happened to be the guy that taught me how to sail when I was a kid. Saw me in the backyard visiting my folks, said, you ever been to California? I said, no. He said, how'd you like to drive a truck out there? Said, well, okay. So at 52 miles an hour in this old Ford flatbed, we chugged across the country.
You're carrying a bomb, basically.
Carrying a bomb. 2 bombs. I was 23 years old at the time and, didn't give a second thought to the cargo.
I'm on. Let's go.
Yeah. California, you bet. Land of the Beach Boys. Let's go. And I pulled into his yard.
Which was where?
Eichenlaub Boatyard at the time was right next to where the Red Sails used to be. The Red Sails restaurant, now the Catch restaurant.
Okay.
So
that was the Eichenlaub Boatyard.
Right on Shelter Island.
Right on Shelter Island. And right next door where that big A-frame is, was Hawthorne Marine, where they were building the Hawthorne power boats. And then to the other side, there was Kettenberg Marine that was building wooden sailboats. And then right next, down the street was Mauricio's. And Mauricio's was building aluminum net skiffs for the tuna fleet. And then Driscoll's was building sailboats and Kohler's was building power boats. So this whole
and then on this side of the marina where we're sitting right now was what?
Rask Shipyard.
Rask Shipyard.
Yeah, R-A-S-K. Rask Shipyard serviced the wooden tuna boat fleet, the bait boats.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they had been here forever. When I first came,
This is like in the 70s you're talking about.
yeah, early 70s. When I first came to town during that period of time, at Christmas time, you could drive down the Embarcadero and the tuna fleet would come in and was literally stacked 6 deep, rafted up for the holidays. You know, and of course, when they started counting porpoises and the porpoise kills that killed the tuna fleet,
Right.
they all offshore registered and everybody moved out of town, killed the tuna packing industry, killed, you know, the whole
All that.
industry.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's really
Yeah, it was the largest tuna fleet in the world was
Correct.
located here in San Diego.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All
And
US
who know
flag.
that the boats were all built right here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Right where we're sitting right now in the world
Well,
headquarters.
some of them were built
Some
here.
of them.
Yeah, yeah.
Pretty amazing.
Cool.
You have a great text,
I thought
huh?
so. Yeah. It says my boat's 21 years old. I have an aluminum gas tank, which are buried below deck. How would you determine if and when they needed to be replaced without ripping up the deck? That's from Rob in Seal Beach.
Okay, Rob. So the deal is that a lot of small boats have fuel tanks that are placed in the bilge without access. And the problem is if you have any water in your bilge, salt water in particular, in your bilge, you have about an 80 to 90% chance that you're going to have a corrosion problem with that fuel tank. I had to replace the fuel tank in my Bayliner 28. I had a 28-foot trophy. And one day I'm out fishing and smelled gas. What the heck is going on? Open the compartment, look down, and here I've got 10 gallons of gas in my bilge.
Ooh.
And that's because a lot of builders put these aluminum fuel tanks in the bilge. If they get wet with salt water,
It's going to happen.
you have a problem. So you
Right.
have to periodically try to get in there. And I, would suggest that you flush your bilge with salt away every now and then, maybe
Okay.
once or twice. If you've got a lot of water in there, get
Yeah.
some salt away and mix it up and just flood the bilge with the salt away and get rid of the salt
The salt water that's in there.
if you can.
Yeah. That's a good
Yeah.
tip.
Yeah. Very good.
Yeah, for sure.
Would
Well,
you say that that's kind of the Achilles heels, the Achilles of some of the older boats? If a guy was wanting to do a survey and a situation like Rob was in, is that one of the main things that can and does go bad if you're purchasing a used boat?
No doubt. Corroded aluminum fuel tanks is also one of the big problems. So as the fleet ages out, those aluminum fuel tanks get subjected to more and more salt water.
And then also maybe another question, and I know your job is to find the issues, not to fix them, but is that an issue that is okay, we should walk away from this project, or is it hey, well, yeah, it's going to cost us a couple $1,000, but it's very fixable and it's not the end of the world?
Yeah, a lot of people panic when they have a corroded fuel tank, and rightly so, because they've now got a bomb in the bilge. But you can neutralize that. You get some CO2 and flood the bilge and put some inert gas in there and get rid of the explosion problem, and then discharge the fuel. Take the deck off. Usually there's screw-on hatches over it.
right.
Sometimes it gets complicated because you got a center console sitting on top of
Sure,
your
it's
hatch.
not a small project.
Not a small project, but it's worth doing if you like your boat. And if it's a reliable boat, with the exception of that, it's probably worth doing.
There you go. Let's jump into the phones.
You
Rick.
got it. How about this time? We talked to Peggy calling us from San Clemente this morning. Good morning. Welcome to Let's Talk Hookup. Oh, Paige. Excuse me. Hi,
Paige.
Paige. Hey,
Hi,
Paige.
Paige.
Hey, good morning.
Did you have a question this morning?
Sorry, can you hear me now?
Yeah, we can hear you loud and clear.
So my dad's been perfect. So my dad's been listening to your guys' show for as long as I can remember. The two of us are headed down right now to Point Loma. We're going out on the new Loan, and we were hoping to get some advice on what lures to use or what we might expect to catch out there.
Well, that's awesome, Paige. How long is the trip that you guys are going on?
We're going until Monday morning. We're going to be coming back.
Okay, so there has
day and a half.
Yeah, and one, as I'm sure you know, and sounds like you and Dad have been doing this for a long time. But what a great boat, and those guys have been at the forefront.
Adam is the killer.
He really is. Yeah.
Right.
And it'll be interesting to see what you do, because there are a couple of things at play. There is still good bluefin fishing to be had, although not as consistent as it was. There has been some very good scores as of late. Out to the west, and that fish has mostly been caught on fly line, kind of typical bluefin, lighter line, smaller hooks, kind of stealth fishing, a lot of 25 through 40 pound line size, and a small, like a Gamakatsu number 2 or even a number 4 hook. And a lot of that bluefin has been in the school size range, 20 to 40 pounds. The other option that's at play is the larger yellowfin tuna, but that's starting to get a long ways down the beach. You know, as the year continues to lengthen, that fish is sliding farther and farther south. So that would be like the little more high risk, but also high reward. If you guys find it, it's a larger grade fish. And again, mostly that's been sardine fishing with a little bit heavier line, 40 to maybe 60 pound.
But it sounds like with a day and a half, that's a little out of range now. So most likely you're headed out to Cortez or Tanner Bank, and that area, the general zone, and catching bluefin.
And then the benefit
on a small hook.
Exactly. And then the benefit of doing that is, you know, whether you guys get lucky and get fixed up with your bluefin early, or if you need to pivot because it's not been great fishing, then you're in really good position for that excellent rock cod fishing. You could maybe go into one of the islands and do some beach fishing. So, I mean, a great time and a great direction on a boat like the New Loan. I mean, Pete, you said it best. Adam Williams, those guys are absolute killers. So
for sure.
A great trip in front of you for sure, Paige. I wish you guys the best of luck, and maybe you could give us a call next weekend and let us know how it went for you.
Yeah, thanks for the call. Appreciate the call, and good luck on the trip.
Hey, when we come back, we got a lot more Let's Talk Hookup coming your way, including more of your phone calls, more great information with Todd. You stay tuned. It's Let's Talk Hookup on the Sports Grid Radio Network and that Let's Talk Hookup app.
A 40-pound white sea bass.
Well, you're not going to believe this.
Kayak? Tell me about that.
I'm Logan from Fastlane Kayaks on Mission Bay, and the whole story began when Ron Lane lent my parents some Hobie Mirage iTrex to put on their boat and take out to Catalina Island. That's when I borrowed the iTrek 11, threw it in my car, and drove down to Baja for a fishing and camping trip. Ended up landing a bucket list 40-pound white sea bass on the flip.
Dang. That sounds even better than our Mammoth trip, when we packed up the kayaks in the car, snowboarded all morning, then drove down to the lakes, launched the iTrex, and fished for trout all afternoon.
Honestly, the iTrek inflatables are the ultimate fishing platform. From trout in the Sierras, calicos at Catalina, and white sea bass in the Sea of Cortez, they can do it all.
And we've documented all these trips, so check out Fastlane Kayaks on Instagram to see more. And if you think you want a kayak, but you're on the fence, come down to our shop. We're right on Mission Bay, and we would be happy to throw one in the water and let you give it a try. So call Fastlane Kayaks to schedule a demo today.
Summit Gasoline at the San Diego Sports Arena is the place to fill up your car, truck, and boat with the lowest gas and diesel prices. Did you know Summit is also the place to get the lowest prices on gourmet ice and snacks for your trip? $3.99 for 25 pounds of ice, as many as you want. That's half the price of others. Plus, you get 100 pounds of ice free with a 30-gallon fill. Kirkland products at lower prices than the store that makes them, plus dozens of great snacks for just 89 cents. They can now accommodate 24 cars and trucks to fuel at the same time, plus 12 diesel pumps, easy in and outs too. Step into the Summit Bistro and enjoy what Martha and her crew have for you. Fresh made burritos, sandwiches, salad, along with beer, beverages, and of course, always free ice. Summit Gasoline low prices, friendly staff, free ice, and easy in and out with your boat and trailer at the San Diego Sports Arena.
All of us at the American Angler family want to express appreciation to our regular passengers that fish with us year after year, and to the new anglers that came out this last season. We realize how precious your vacation time is, and we are truly grateful that you have chosen to spend this time with us. It's important that your experience is memorable, from the moment you call the office to the time you step off the boat. Hi, I'm Lori. Call me at the office, 619-223-5414, or check us out at AmericanAnglerSportFishing.com. Come fishing with the American Angler family and make a memory.
Whether you're boating, floating, paddling, fishing, or just chilling, remember a good day on the water always starts with everyone wearing life jackets. Save the ones you love. Life jackets save lives. A message from California State Parks Division of Boating and Waterways.
This is Bob Hoots at Costa Sunglasses. Visual signs are a critical part of my fishing program, from bay bass to bluefin. I wear Costas to see what's out there. Costas are built with advanced polarization technology with our 580 lens, designed to cut through the sun's glare while providing enhanced color to see more fish. Costa was founded by a group of anglers wanting a high-performance lens for every fishing application. Costa has a West Coast style frame and lens for your adventures. CostaSunglasses.com.
Welcome back to Let's Talk Hookup. We're having a great time here this morning talking all kinds of great fishing, great info. Again, it's been a busy morning on the phones and on the text. If you want to get through, talk to Todd, you've got questions, again, give us a call at 213-432-1090. That's the phone number. Or keep those texts coming along on that Let's Talk Hookup app.
Yeah, you can see that it's pretty quiet out on the landings. I've got the outdoor camera on our YouTube and Facebook Live. I want to thank all the people for tuning in on YouTube, Facebook Live, of course, tuning in on 1090 AM, of course, too, and, of course, on the Sports Grid Radio Network and our Let's Talk Hookup app. So a lot of different places you can see Let's Talk Hookup. And you have a great text, huh?
I thought so. It says, good morning, guys. What a fun show today. Todd, I have a question. Have you ever done any investigations on any sport boats or any popular boats that some of us might remember? That's from Jeff in Huntington Beach.
Absolutely, Jeff. Thanks for that question. I've done a lot of investigation on various sport boats, depending on what the problems are. But there's one I referred to in the book. The Sundown was a favorite case of mine that went down just south of Rosarito. The boat grounded in the middle of the night, and we had to go down and take a crew down to Mexico and fight the surf and the salvers and the locals from and try to figure out how to get this boat off the beach. It's not easy when you go up on a king.
Is that the one that's in the book?
That's the one that's in the book. Yeah.
Fascinating story.
You go when you go around.
A lot of bribes, a lot of
Really?
Oh yeah, there's a lot of palm greasing that has to go on to get things done in certain areas. But that was a pretty interesting deal, because we had to bring. I brought a crew down from Knight and Carver, and I called my friend Hugo Carver and said I need some help. And I called Rob Butler from Vessel Assist at the time. And my friend Ted Griffith, who owned some tugboats at the time.
Yeah.
And
Ted owns the Pearson's Fuel.
He owns Pearson's Fuel, good friend of mine.
Yeah.
We've had great adventures that are all in the book. And but the problem with that boat was, here it is, they go up on a king tide, high tide, go aground sideways in the surf. At low tide, we're still got 2 feet of water around the boat.
Shoot.
So how do you get the thing out of there? So what we wound up doing was putting a swimmer in the water with a pneumatic saw and a generator up the beach, and he had to cut the shafts and the struts out of the bottom of the boat, and then we had to plug the holes and try to pull them off with some tugboats.
Wow!
And of course, Rob Butler brought his 2 boats down, and I said, Rob, with all due respect, I don't think you're going to have enough horsepower to pull this thing.
Juice.
So we called Ted. And about the time we were done cutting everything off, pruning off the running gear, Ted shows up with his tugboat right at sundown, appropriate for the boat.
Right. Nice
So
name.
we pulled the whole thing off, in little lurches, and every big cheer went up. But the funny thing was, pruning the running gear off, there was a guy under the boat, with the saw, and we had a generator going. So as the tide started to come in, we had another guy on surf watch that would yell, "Incoming!" And they'd have to unplug the
110, right? You're sitting in the water.
Exactly. I had,
but it was successful.
Yeah, well, kind of successful. Well, you got it off the beach, and everybody was cheering as it kind of went out. We had airbags around it, and as the sun was going down, the sundown got lower and lower in the water, and flooded down to deck level. So
did it ever make it to San Diego?
Yeah,
it did.
Yeah, we brought it into San Diego
Towed it in.
Harbor, added some more lift bags, got a hold of the old Kettenberg yard, had a synchro lift at the time, and put them on notice towed it right into the sinker lift and lifted it out of the water.
Get out of here.
Yeah.
What a story.
That's like some of the stories that are in the book, Rocking the Boat. You got to check it out. Scott Sherman's online. Good morning, Scott.
Hey, Scott.
Hey, good morning, guys. Good show. I love the topic being in the business here.
That's right. Insurance man.
Yeah, two things. Todd mentioned don't just buy on price. I can't tell you how important that is. So many guys go online and buy on price and then find out later the hard way that the coverage they thought they had is not there. So if you're going to be shopping, find an agent who knows the business and knows what the policies cover. And then I had a question for Todd is what is the most egregious case of fraud you've ever seen? In my 34 years, I've seen a couple of them that were pretty egregious, and I would just want to know what a claims adjuster has seen.
Gosh, the list is really long.
Yeah, read the book, man, because it's like some of that stuff will blow your mind.
Yeah. I mean, it's a long list. There are a couple of stories in the book that are some of the better ones. Probably the most egregious and the most dangerous was a claim that we got on a reported stolen boat. It was an 85-footer up in San Francisco, and this fellow, the insured, had reported it stolen, so we were hired to do a wanted poster on it. So we did our wanted poster and sent it out, and almost immediately the phone rang, and it was the California Department of Insurance investigator. And he says, we need to meet in San Francisco tomorrow morning. So I called my principal at the insurance company, and I said, Dan, he says, I just got the same call, and he's on the East Coast. He's in New Jersey at the time. So he flew across the country. I flew up to San Francisco, and we went to this Holiday Inn to meet these insurance investigators. And the long and the short of the story is that the owner of the boat was the head of the Chinese triad in San Francisco.
Oh, my.
And they had gotten a tip from the captain of the boat, who said that the owner wanted him to sink the boat so he could collect the insurance money. And he didn't want to lose his license.
Yeah.
Fortunately, he called somebody. They got the Department of Insurance hooked into it early on. So Dan and I wound up going to San Francisco to meet the owner of the boat at his compound. And I knew I was in trouble. We rolled up to this 15-foot concrete thing with barbed wire around the top of it, and we walk. there are guards at the gate. And, we had to get buzzed in, and we get into the building. And as we're walking down the hall to this fellow's office, I couldn't help but notice that hanging on the wall were pictures of him shaking hands with Ronald Reagan and with Jerry Brown and with all of these politicians.
So now did he get the money?
No.
No.
So what happened, long story, but what happened was that Dan, who was the insurance adjuster, said, we're going to get him to sign a proof of loss, which is standard in the industry.
Right.
So we sat across the desk from this fellow, and Dan very calmly and quietly said, we need this proof of loss notarized. We need to go to maybe your bank and have it notarized. So we drove down the street to his bank, and Dan positioned the chair so it was right in front of the camera, and got the guy to sign the proof of loss.
Yeah.
And we hot-footed it out of Dodge. Both of us were scared to death.
Yeah.
About 2 weeks later, we get a call from the Department of Insurance investigator, and he says, we got the arrest. And they went and they arrested 15 people and scooped up like 15 stolen cars with HIN switches and what have you. The boat, it turns out, because they were tipped off by the captain drove the boat out under the San Francisco Bridge at dusk so the owner can confirm that it was going out to be sunk.
Yeah.
After dark, the Coast Guard pulled alongside with two cutters, sandwiched it between the two cutters, and drove it up to Richmond and hauled it out of the water and put it in the shed. Put it in the building.
No
So he made the claim, and the boat was still floating.
Exactly. They had seized the boat.
Yeah.
He perfected the claim.
And how much was the claim for?
Oh, it was
You
close to
remember?
$1 million.
Wow.
Yeah,
Wow.
maybe
that's
over
amazing.
$1 million.
What a good story.
Yeah,
This
it's a
is
good
great,
story.
man. I
Huh?
love
Hey,
it.
Sherm, thanks a lot for the
Yeah,
call.
good call.
El Chingon is on the line. Good morning, El Chingon.
Hey, how you doing, Pete?
Yeah, of course, Jeff Conrad, aka Jeff Conrad, El Chingon, has a show here on 1090 AM every Monday through Friday. Tell us about it.
Yeah, we're happy to be on 1090, and we're on Monday through Friday from 7 to 9 in the morning. Okay, and then we come back at noon till 7, from the afternoon and the early evening.
7 to 9 in the morning, and then noon to
noon to 7 o'clock, unless I fall asleep before then.
yeah. But you have a lot going on, and it's an oldies show, right? And it's great music, right?
Yeah. But most of the music we play from the 60s and the 70s. And what's interesting, Pete, is there's about 70 radio stations in Southern California between, Los Angeles and San Diego area, and nobody really plays this music. And so I've always loved the music. I grew up in the 60s. I was in high school and then went to college, University of Wisconsin, and I was a DJ back in Wisconsin. And so this is kind of my music. When I went to high school, that's the stuff I listened to. We play a lot of the Beatles, the Rolling Stones, Motown, the Temptations, and the list goes on and on and on. But it's great music, and people love it, and we're getting great response and getting a ton of publicity for 1090, which helps the station and helps your show and everybody.
Absolutely. And of course, 1090 AM goes all over the place, all over Southern California. So you can hear it from in Baja to Morro Bay, all the way up and down the coast. Now, the other interesting thing is you've brought back some of the old time DJs from LA and Southern California rock, right?
Yeah, nobody's really ever done this on radio. I mean, stations have played oldies before, but they've never, we have like the music legends of the music is like legendary, and the DJs are legendary. For example, and most of them are dead. I'm one of the few people on the station.
El Chingon still is around. Yeah.
Still around, but I'm getting old, so who knows for how long, But anyway, in the morning from 7 to 9, our morning show is Charlie Tuna. Charlie was a big DJ in LA and on KHJ for 20 years.
Oh, yeah.
And so he does the mornings. Then from noon to 2, we have a guy named M.G. Kelly, who is also a KHJ DJ. From 2 to 3, it's me, El Chingon. I get in there for 1 hour. From 3 to 5, it's the real Don Steele. Again, a guy.
Another legend.
KRLA, one of the best, most famous DJs back of that era. So he's on from 3 to 5. And then after Real Don Steele, from 5 to 7, it's Wolfman Jack.
Oh.
And what's crazy, Pete, is back, I think 50 or 60 years ago, Wolfman Jack worked on 1090. He worked on the same station.
Absolutely. Yeah. Back in the day. Now, and
back the past.
how are you bringing back these DJs that are dead? First of all, is it AI?
Well, you got to start with a shovel. You got to go to the no, I'm kidding. Actually, the way we do it is this. Most of those people have tons of shows that they've done on tape, okay? For example, Wolfman Jack has like 4,000 hours of tape shows from his career. So what we had to do is, and most of these shows have an estate. They have usually it's family or something who controls, things. So even though they're passed away, they still have an estate. They're still, promoting their shows. They're selling Wolfman Jack T-shirts, coffee cups, whatever. It's still
Right.
a viable business, and it brings money in usually for the family. So we had to go to the estate of Wolfman Jack, the estate of Real Don Steele, and talk to them. Usually it was their kid, and throw them our idea and see if they would come on board with it. And we've gotten great response. They love it.
Oh, it's fantastic. I listen on 1090. It's like blast from the past and great music too with these legendary. I'm sure you're old enough, Todd, to remember these guys, right?
Oh, yeah. I remember Wolfman Jack.
Oh, who
for
doesn't?
sure.
Yeah. Legendary DJ. So once again, El Chingon, what time? 10:90 a.m. Okay, is the place Monday through Friday, and give us the rundown on the times and who's on.
Okay, well, again, our morning show 7 to 9, Charlie Tuna. Our midday show noon to 2 with MG Kelly. 2 to 5, it's our afternoon show with the real Don Steele, and from 5 to 7, it's the one and only Wolfman Jack. And I've got 2 other DJs I'm working on, but I want to keep their name a secret till I release it. But there are 2 other people that may be joining us in the next 3, 4, 5 weeks, and they are legendary in Southern California and Los Angeles.
That's cool.
Oh, fun. What a great idea.
Great idea. Mark is Mr. Creative. I've known Mark for 40 plus years. He was in the radio business back when I was working at the radio station in Carlsbad as sales manager. And Mark and I became friends back there. And he's always got this creative brain. It's unbelievable. But Mark, or excuse me, El Chingon, as he goes on the air.
Pete, I got 28 aliases. So
Yeah, I know, like a lot of them. Yeah, for sure. All right, El Chingon, which of course means the great one in Spanish, right?
Not exactly, but it's close.
Okay, all right. All right. Well, all right. Thanks, Mark. Appreciate that very much. And yeah.
Keep up the good work. And by the way, I play a lot of oldies that have to do with fishing. So if you're into fishing, listen to our show and you might hear some stuff that you like.
There you go. All right. Great to hear from you. I appreciate the call this morning at 10:90 a.m.
Hey, when we come back, we got another full hour of Let's Talk Hookup coming your way on 10:90 a.m. Also on that Let's Talk Hookup app, the Sports Grid Radio Network. We're checking in with catch reports. We're going to find out what's biting up and down the beach. More phone calls and texts for sure. You stay tuned. Another great hour coming your way on the Let's Talk Hookup app and that Sports Grid Radio Network.
I've had the opportunity to fish many places in many different types of water, but never have I fished a place as much fun as Katmai Lodge in Alaska. Hello, my name is Harold Davis, typically fishing in the ocean, but this is an experience that you have to try for yourself. Fish natural rivers with tens of thousands of fish coming up. And they have all the gear: spinning, bait casting, fly rods, kings, silvers, pinks, sockeyes, and my favorite, the chums. Outstanding food, outstanding accommodations, great service. The lodge is located in the beautiful Katmai National Park, filled with amazing wildlife. Brown bears, moose, eagles, otters, and it has spectacular scenery. And also the fact that the lodge is located right on the Alagnak River and your boat is just steps away from your room makes it great. Do yourself a favor. Call Charmel at 1-800-330-0326 or go online, katmai.com. And like Pete says, they will hook you up.
The best just got better. Shimano is proud to introduce the all-new Talica 20A and 25A reels. The Talica series is Shimano's flagship two-speed lever drag reel. It sits at the very pinnacle of the offshore world. The Shimano's Talica success is driven by its durability and spec attributes, allowing the series to differentiate from other lever drag reels within the market. The Talica is built around a cold-forged machined aluminum one-piece frame. The all-new Talica 20A and 25A now boasts Infinity Drive. Infinity Drive employs 2 drag washers housed in the side of the reel, allowing for an ultra-smooth, powerful drag system, while at the same time increasing winding power under a load as much as 40%. There's also a new lower low gear. If your utmost concern is performance without compromise, Talica 20A and 25A are the reels for you. Available now at your local Shimano dealer.
Sports Grid Radio Network is the premier audio streaming channel dedicated to serving the massive sports wagering and fantasy audience. Found on the Sports Grid app and SiriusXM. Sports Grid's real-time data transforms viewers into informed sports enthusiasts. Get the best in-game live coverage during all the games, as well as the most in-depth pre-game previews from hosts like Scott Farrell, Donnie Rightside, Ben Stevens, Gabe Morency, and many more. To find out where you can listen to Sports Grid, go to sportsgridradio.com. It's smarter to be on Sports Grid.
The lighter the bite and the cleaner the water means one thing: need a thinner leader for more natural presentations. That's where Seaguar Gold Label leader material shines. It's Seaguar's thinnest leader material yet. That means it's even less visible underwater and creates more natural presentations for better catch rates on leader-shy fish. With exceptional knot and tinsel strength, this advanced leader material is now available from 2-pound test for fishing trout in the Sierra to 80-pound test for big yellowfin in Guadalupe. Get Seaguar Gold Label at your favorite tackle dealer or learn more at seaguar.com.
Turner's Outdoorsman, Southern California's #1 shooting, hunting, and fishing tackle retailer since 1971, is right in your neighborhood. Now with stores throughout Southern, Central, and Northern California. No one does it better. Turner's Outdoorsman brings you the best prices and selection, plus a knowledgeable staff that will help make your day on the water or in the field more fun. Stop by your neighborhood Turner's Outdoorsman. To find a location nearest you, check the web at turners.com and sign up for special deals and more.
Seasoned long-range fishermen know that the Red Rooster 3 is the finest fishing vessels in terms of technology, design, speed, comfort, and safety. This 105-foot sport fishing yacht meets every demand for comfort while delivering an unforgettable fishing vacation. Captain Andy Cates and crew are experienced, friendly, and sincere in their desire to help you have the trip of a lifetime. Book a trip on the Red Rooster 3, and you'll be back. Trips go fast. So check redrooster3.com or call Lee Palm Sport Fisheries at 619-224-3857.
Now it's time for more of Southern California's sports fishing voice. Let's talk hookup. Get ready for more of the best fishing information and the hottest tips on improving your angling skills. Let's Talk Hookup is sponsored in part by Ford, the official truck of Let's Talk Hookup. Shimano Rods and Reels. Fish with the best. Shimano. And now, Southern California's sports fishing voice, the hosts of Let's Talk Hookup, Pete Gray, Rock God Rick Maxa, and Corey Sandin.
And welcome back. Hour number 2, Let's Talk Hookup right here on the Let's Talk Hookup app, Sports Grid Radio Network, 1090 AM, and YouTube and Facebook Live on the Let's Talk Hookup radio show, YouTube and Facebook Live. Pete Gray here along with Rock God Rick Maxa in the world headquarters of Let's Talk Hookup. Rocking the boat today with Todd Schwede. He's just an awesome guy. The knowledge in this guy's mind here is just like beyond. You got to read this book. It's super cool. Rocking the Boat, Adventures of a Marine Investigator. I'm actually reading it on Kindle. It is available on Kindle. It's available in hardback. That's what this is. And the one we're giving away is a paperback. So it's you can probably buy it on Amazon or where can you buy it?
Well, you can get it on Amazon for sure. Down the street here at Seabreeze Books has it.
Okay. Yeah, cool.
And then, believe it or not, at Pac West Marine, the Yanmar dealer has a couple on the counter.
Okay.
Cool.
All right. Great.
Yeah, I'm not actively, pushing the book.
But if you look on Kindle, if you read on Kindles, you can go download it there.
But you just explained to me that your Kindle version, the photographs are black and white.
They're black and white.
I did not know that until you told me that.
These photographs in this book are amazing.
The pictures make the stories.
Yeah, but the amazing thing about Kindle though is you can make them larger.
Yeah,
that's nice. But they are in black and white, but you can make them larger. But like you look at the stories But definitely the pictures make this.
With holiday times coming around the corner, you're looking for Christmas, something fun. I mean, what a killer thing for anybody who's into boats and fishing and all this stuff. Yeah, a really cool one.
And Todd's going to autograph the one for the lucky winner today, right?
That's cool.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, you might be that lucky winner if you give us a call this morning. Again, the number to get through, it's 213-432-1090. Already been a good morning on the phones. 213-432-1090. Or keep those texts coming through on that Let's Talk Hookup app. Again, only available through the Let's Talk Hookup app, and make sure you include that name and a phone number just so we can make sure to get you that big prize if you happen to be the big winner today.
Time for the Catch Report.
You got it, buddy. It sure is. And today our Catch Report is sponsored in part by Dana Landing on Mission Bay, your one-stop shop for everything you need to go fishing. A complete deli, beverages, boating supplies, as well as San Diego's most complete saltwater tackle shop. Also check out East County Bait and Tackle and Lemon Grove Bait and Tackle, with the best in both freshwater and saltwater tackle, along with live bait. Dana Landing is next to the Dana Lawn Tramp in Mission Bay. ECBT, they're at the end of the 67 freeway at Mapleview and Lakeside. And Lemon Grove Bait and Tackle, they're on Broadway and Lemon Grove. Check danalanding.com for info on all things Dana Landing and all those great shops.
Filling in for Captain Mark Wish, who's taking a little time off, the one and only Danny from Fish Dope. Good morning, Danny.
Hey, Danny.
Hey, good morning. How you guys doing?
We're doing
great.
Enjoying the show. I also sure glad I'm not an insurance adjuster in Mexico. Damn, that was scary.
Yeah.
So, I got some interesting stuff. Yes, it is turning to winter and things are slowing down, but sea bass are coming into the picture.
Hey.
There's a tonnage of squid around cruise, but Tucker on the Endeavor, he's stumbled into a wide open bite yesterday. It got limits, 3 fish limits for all on board. And I have not heard what's happening yet this morning, but it wouldn't surprise me if something's still happening there. Going to Catalina Island.
3 fish limits.
There's a
That's
bunch of
epic.
squid on the back there, and there's sea bass and halibut biting there. It's not on the squid beds. It's more kind of deep water, hard bottom, just outside beaches and structure stuff. But dang, we got 2 places now where sea bass are a definite possibility to catch. Moving offshore, Tanner and Cortez both have bluefin. They both have big bonito and some really big yellows. And that's about it for U.S. Offshore fishing. And, you know, it had to come to an end sometime. That big yellowfin down the beach has moved south. The water's 64 degrees and dropping. All the guys I know that were going to run down there went to Tanner instead this morning. So anyway, that covers what I got for fish soap right now.
Hey, we'll take that all day, man. Some good sea bass fishing, and you know, with that always comes the potential of halibut and yellow, and we'll take all of that. Still some tuna to be had, Danny. Sounds like plenty good fishing to be had, and if somebody wants to keep up with all that great information, we always say you can find it on Fish Dope, and you can save $30 on a new membership by using the code Hookup Now. It's all lowercase, no space. Hookup Now saves you $30. And you know, Danny, we always talk about how great the info is that that Mark Wish compiles through you. But again, just hats off. You guys do such an amazing job with Fish Dope. We don't get to tell you enough. And it's so much more than just the catch report. I mean, you guys, current events and weather and regulation changes, right. And it's so much more than just, hey, there was fish biting at this spot yesterday. Right. We love it.
Yeah, don't forget the great SSTs and chlorophyll charts and the bathymetric charts. Jeff does all those, and they're top notch.
It's a bargain for less than 200. What is it? With the code, less than $200 for a full year.
You're certainly not filling your fuel tank with what it costs for a Fish Dope subscription. That's for sure.
For sure.
That's
hey,
correct.
Danny, thanks a lot for the report,
job.
filling in for Mark Wish, and we'll who knows when we'll talk to you. We'll talk to you again, I hope, real soon, because you do such a great job. We appreciate it.
Thanks, Danny.
Thank you, guys. Bye-bye.
All right, now let's head on down to San Diego, over to Seaforth Sport Fishing, and talk to our buddy Marcos. Marcos, what's going on at Seaforth?
Good morning, guys. How's everyone doing today?
Doing great, buddy.
Well, finally had to happen. Fishing definitely, shouldn't even say the fishing, but just the people coming out slowed down. You know, we made it in the second week of November here, but this week was pretty much all half day. The new Seaforth fishing deep water, catching those resin rockfish in morning, afternoon when the weather permitted. Otherwise, they went for La Jolla. Yesterday, we had those Warriors for Peace out here. Yesterday, we had 6 boats take out a bunch of guys going half day fishing, and fishing was spectacular. Great rock fishing there. Beyond that, the full days and the overnights, we just didn't get anything out this week. We did have the Asa come back from a 3-day earlier in the week, off of last weekend, and they did catch some yellowfin, so they're still out there. But going forward here, still got those half days going up. Big change. The San Diego, starting next Saturday, we're going to actually be running 3/4 day trips on the San Diego. It's been a long time since we run those regular 3/4 day trips, but it's about time there. Those trips will be leaving at 7, coming back at 4, kind of that traditional weird. A lot of us that have been in here a while recognize. And check that out on the website, half days, those 3/4 days on the San Diego. Get more information up there. You can make reservations online. Seaforthlanding.com. We got the schedules up there. We still got a few overnights and longer trip scheduled in there. You can check those out also. Give us a call at the office, 619-224-3383. Wish I had a more detailed report for you guys this week, but it's, like I said, a little slow there. But, hey, if you still want to get out there, some really nice weather right now, great half-day fishing, and then we're getting into those 3/4 day trips, which I'm hoping people enjoy those in the past, and I'm hoping they enjoy them again.
I think it sounds a great idea. One more time, Marcos, when is that going to happen, the 3/4 day local trip on the San Diego?
The 16th, starting next Saturday, will be our first one. So if you do want to try and squeeze in an islands trip, this is your last week to do it there. Reservations are pretty light right now, but I'm sure we'll get at least one of those days out there. Otherwise, coming up pretty quick here, a little different trip, and it'll be nostalgia for some people, a new thing for others. Totally. But overall, I'm pretty sure they're going to have some great fishing on there.
And will those be U.S. waters or passport required?
Yeah.
Or is that to be determined?
No,
How's
no
that all
passport.
shake out? No passport needed.
They're going to stay local,
How
7
fun.
to 4. Yeah, $150. California licenses. They're going to be fishing up in La Jolla, kind of trying to get into those yellowtail bass, whitefish, sheephead, shallow water rockfish. So they
I
won't be
love
going
this.
deep.
What a great idea.
Yeah.
Yeah, easy hours,
Yep.
fun, a little more extended trip, easy on the pocketbook.
And a great boat.
Yeah, that's a great one. Good call, guys. Well, Marco, some good fishing to be had and certainly some good fishing to look forward to. Some nice weather on the way. So we'll look forward to hopefully another great report next week.
We'll talk to you then, guys.
All right, thanks, Marcos.
That wraps
Appreciate
it up.
That's it, man. And what a great fishing there is to be had. Want to remind you today, it's sponsored in part by Gamakatsu. Not only are they all about hooks, there's so much more, including the new Gamakatsu fillet knives. Once you try them, you are going to want more. Also, their new tools are great, very special, including the Gamakatsu braid scissors. And I need to make a quick comment here. Rick was nice enough at Tackle Days to give us a couple of pairs of braid scissors to test out. And man, I'll tell you, our boys are like the lion's den when it comes to testing out things on the line machine. So there are 2 pairs of those Gamakatsu braid scissors that we have. We have been using them since Tackle Days. They're really unique. They're a ceramic serrated blade scissor. Dude, they cut spectra awesome.
Better than the ones that cost twice as much or 3 times as much.
They're really cool.
They're
we
really good.
Really, really like them a lot. They're very clean. It leaves a very clean edge when you're doing hollow spectra. It's pretty important when you're doing insert style connections. And right now it's like Swordfish Central at the shop. We're doing a lot of splicing and adding and color marks and buoy loops and all that kind of stuff. And they're getting used a ton. 100% A+ recommendation for us. We love them. It's a really, really nice product. As everything, Gamakatsu, they just don't mess around. When they come out with something that might be available, they put their twist on it, and it's always right. And I really like those ceramic braid scissors for sure. For more information, you can go to your local dealer or always check gamakatsu.com.
Yeah, for sure. All right. Hey, phones are packed up. But before we jump into the phones or the text, a lot of text. Katmai Lodge just had 2 spots come available on the trip that Rick is going to host in July. Coming in July,
Yes.
Ricky's going to be hosting the trip. It's mid-July. If you look at our Let's Talk Hookup website, letstalkhookup.com, all the dates and details on how to get that. Or just call Charmel in the office, check katmai.com. But 2 spots just came available to one of the most incredible places on earth.
There's never been a person that we have been, who has been to Katmai and then come back on Let's Talk Hookup and not just gone.
They always
overboard.
go back.
It's difficult.
Or they kind of figure out, when can I go back?
It's difficult to give the accolades of that place. The wildlife you see, the fishing you experience, how comfortable the lodge is for being so insanely remote. It's a really, really special place. And it's always sold out. And so to have 2 spots pop up is really cool. I always say the same thing. Like, if you think you're going to go, you have to book those now. Because once like PCS time gets here, those will be gone. Katmai's not the type of place where they're struggling to get people to go. It's the opposite. It's very difficult.
Especially
There's
especially when we go.
That's what I'm saying.
We've been doing business with them long enough. We get the primus of prime time. Sockeye, kings, the occasional silver, trout, and who knows what else. And just absolutely incredible experience. And Rock Cut Rick's going to host it this year.
I can't wait.
So
it's been
that's
a long
going to be
time.
cool.
I can't wait. I'm really excited.
So just call Charmail in the office. Check Katmai, KATMAI.com for more details on that epic trip.
All right. Well, we're going to jump back into the phones. Jim from Corona, you're up next here on Let's Talk Hookup. Jim, good morning.
Yo, hi. My question is for the guest. I was interested in buying a boat from New Zealand. I was wondering if I would be able to get that registered in the United States. Since it wasn't meant for the United States market, it probably wouldn't be U.S. Coast Guard certified. I'd heard that the motor I'd have to buy in the United States as well because of the California EPA regulations.
Interesting.
Yeah, that is an interesting question. Is it a boat that you intend to use for hire, for sport fishing, taking people, passengers?
I guess we lost him, but yeah, if it's not for hire, if it's for hire, you cannot do that with a foreign built vessel.
That's correct.
But I mean, there's lots of Rivieras around, and they're built in Australia.
Yeah.
And I don't see why you couldn't have a boat from New Zealand.
You can do like 6-pack, 12 people or less. It can be foreign built, I think.
No.
Okay.
No. I mean, you have to have a special exclusion for it. You have to kind of yes, you can, but there's special because I've known some people that have had to do that.
Right.
And yes, like for example, Captain Clowers has a Riviera.
Right.
and he got a special exclusion.
Right.
But you definitely have to jump through a few hoops. It is possible.
Maybe let me read this text because this kind of runs alongside that, and we could answer both at the same time. And it was from Alex from San Carlos, which he said, "Good morning, guys. What are the ins and outs of having a Ponga built in Mexico, but then being able to register and insure it here in the United States? Is it something that can be done?" Kind of along the same lines, can he, have a boat built down in one of those Ensenada yards, but then be able to insure it and register it once you come back to the United States?
Yeah, what he has to do is have manufacturer's identification code issued for the boat, and you do that through the United States Coast Guard document or registration office in Washington D.C. The hull identification office. Can't remember the name exactly, but the builder needs to be registered and have a MIC code, manufacturer's ID code, designated for the builder. Or the alternative is that you can have what's known as a CFZ number attached, issued by the state of California as a home built boat.
Oh, okay. All right.
Special
So there's
construction
ways around the different things
Yeah.
on these laws.
That's right.
But
Yeah.
I would say for a New Zealand built boat, if you just for personal use, there's no problem with that. Right?
Yeah, if it's for personal use, I don't see any issue with
Yeah.
that at all. His question regarding the engine is another whole nother problem.
Yeah.
As you guys are probably much more familiar with the CARB
EPA.
requirements and the EPA coming up, tier code mandates hit the sport fleet early. Now they're going, to the recreational market, and they're going
Right.
to want everybody to upgrade to tier 3.
Yeah.
Or tier 4.
Yeah.
Which hasn't been invented.
Hasn't been invented. Yeah. It's kind of ridiculous.
They passed a law and they don't have the product
Right.
available.
Yeah. Welcome to California.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's nuts.
Yeah. Hey, from Jason in San Diego, he says, "Good morning, Pete, Rick, and Todd. What a great show. My question is for Todd. When did you decide to write the book, and how long did it take you to finish it? It sounds amazing. Also, how do I purchase the book?"
You can buy it on Amazon. Just do,
and it's called Rockin' the Boat.
Rockin' the Boat, ROCKIN', but do the keyword search Todd Schwede, SCHWEDE, and it'll pop right up. I decided to write the book. These stories have been kicking around in my head for a long time. My office walls are covered with pictures of some of these stories, and I look at them every day.
Yeah.
And as I turned 75 last year, I said, I better write some of this stuff down before I forget it. So that started it. But because I'm used to dictating all of my paperwork, all my reports, I've been dictating forever. I just sat down at the computer and started dictating stream of thought. And the biggest problem I had was with Amazon's publishing editing section. And my advice to any would-be author is, if you go through Amazon, be careful of what editor they assign to you, because I got assigned a English is my second language editor.
Oh my!
From India, and we had big discussions over what I hauled the boat out of the water and put it on the deck of the barge meant versus the barge deck, which is what they wanted to edit it to.
Yeah.
So I started writing it about June. Took me about a month.
That's great, man.
And you did it all verbally?
I dictated the whole thing. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. The problem was cutting and pasting the pictures and finding the pictures. I used to publish a disaster of the month calendar that we sent out to all of our clients.
Yeah.
And every month would have another sunken boat or another boat
Sure.
fire or another collision of some sort. And so that became kind of the basis for some of these stories. Oh, I remember that story.
Yeah.
So I had these pictures plus everything that's hanging on my wall.
Yeah, for sure. Things have changed. My dad was an author and
Mhm.
wrote several books.
Yeah.
And I remember him plucking away at a typewriter.
Right.
Like before electric typewriters back
Yeah.
in the day, right?
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Yeah. But now you can just dictate the whole thing.
You can dictate the whole thing, and it's very simple if you use Amazon Kindle, Amazon Publishing.
Oh, cool.
It's really a simple operation.
I'll be darned.
But they do offshore some of their
like
back
everything.
back channel work, and that was problematic for me.
That was the challenge.
Well, they didn't understand boat jargon.
Yeah.
So they would make, a dozen edits in a chapter, and I'd have to go back. No.
No, this doesn't make sense now.
No.
Yeah.
So that was challenging.
Yeah, for sure. Hey, let's jump back on the phones, Rick.
You got it. How about this time we talk to Lorenzo? He's calling us from Orange County this morning. What's up, Lorenzo? Welcome to Let's Talk Hookup.
Hey, how you guys doing? As a new angler, what can we expect for the winter kind of beach angling fishing? What can I expect? What kind of fish are we getting in this kind of year up in the county, do you think?
Yeah, in Orange County, wintertime, there's some great fishing. Tomorrow, we're going to hear from Brian Woolley from Dana Moore Sport Fishing. And, there's very good coastal fishing that happens in the wintertime. Right now, we're kind of in that transition time where we're still able to fish that deep water rock cod. And there's been some amazing rock cod fishing to be had. When that switches over, it'll be more focused on
January through April. That is closed.
Yep, that closes up. So we'll be focused on halibut fishing, coastal. We'll be doing a lot of sand bass and in calico bass fishing when you get those steady condition days. You mentioned from the beach specifically, there's always still beach fishing, and that's one of the fun things about Gundy's report is the summertime is certainly when it's the most common, but there's some good fishing to be happening. What a lot of wintertime is for us is needing consistency of weather. It doesn't have to be bright, sunny, 70-degree days, but what we don't want are those major fluctuations of, cold wind, rain for 2 or 3 days, nice for a day, cold for a day. Like, as long as those conditions get steady, there's always bass fishing to be had. There's halibut
and
fishing
we have
to be
some
had.
of the best weather of the year in the winter.
No
too.
doubt
So
about
it's
it.
really nice. Hey, thanks a lot for the call, and good luck. Keep on fishing all the way through the winter. Want to mention this month's edition of Pacific Coast Sport Fishing. Bill and his group over there do such a great job
Killing
with it. And really a great edition. Has a lot about Haida Gwaii Lodge, or a.k.a. Queen Charlotte Safaris, in there, a trip that he took with his family there. Such a family-oriented trip. Talks about our 33rd anniversary in there and our changes that we've done here on Let's Talk Hookup, adding all the different things and some halibut, rockfish, the whole thing. Pacific Coast Sport Fishing, great magazine. Pick it up at I know you sell it at Fisherman's Lane Tackle,
love it, yep.
but it's always better to subscribe. Just subscribe to the magazine. They do
Comes
a great
right to the
job.
house.
And then, of course, good luck to all the people fishing in the Western Outdoor News Los Cabos Tuna Jackpot Tournament, right?
Yeah, just wrapped up
Yes,
yesterday.
wrapped up.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and congrats to there was some great fishing this year. Several big fish.
A lot of
Let's put it
big
this way:
fish.
if you had a cow, there were several people that had cows that didn't make the leaderboard.
Like fish over 200 pounds.
Yeah, exactly. There was some great fishing. I know. I believe that team Let's Go had the big fish yesterday, and I believe it was Prime Time. Maybe had the fish the day previous. There was big fish.
A lot of lead changes.
There was a lot of big money winnings from day 1 to day 2, daily jackpot wise, and yeah, several fish over the 200-pound mark. It was really cool to see another really successful tournament. And in addition to the fish over 200, there was lots of fish in that 100 to high 100 range too. It was a really productive tournament and big. I think it was 137 boats or maybe even more. It was really great. I mean, again, I
really
just,
good tournament.
I just
Congratulations to the guys at Western Outdoor News, and you can of course read all about it coming up in this coming edition of Western Outdoor News.
They always do a killer job. When we come back, we got a lot more Let's Talk Hookup coming your way. We're going to check in with our buddy Ron Lane, get a little catch report, hear more about Fast Lane and more. You stay tuned. You're listening to Let's Talk Hookup on the Let's Talk Hookup app and the Sports Grid Radio Network. Everyone has their go-to fishing spot. My spot is Kingfisher Charters in Sitka, Alaska. Rock Cod Rick here to say if you're looking for the ultimate Alaska experience and the best value in Alaska, it's Kingfisher Charters. Owner Seth Bone and his crew consistently deliver deluxe accommodations, the finest food, world-class fish processing, and top-of-the-line fishing experience. We've literally sent hundreds of our listeners to Kingfisher, and they all can't wait to go back. Most Alaska resorts make big promises, and they don't deliver, or they'll nickel and dime you to drive up the cost, but not Kingfisher. Everything is included. Your license, fish processing, super deluxe accommodation, amazing food, airport transfers, your gear. Literally all you need to bring is your layer clothing, and Kingfisher covers the rest. They also have the finest boats and charter captains in Sitka, all for the ultimate value. Take it from me. Book your trip to Kingfisher Charters and you'll thank me. Kingfisher Charters, 800-727-6136 or check kingfishercharters.com.
Hey anglers, AFCO Pro Captain Ben Florentino of Coastal Charters here. As a full-time guide, I'm on the water all year long. It's my livelihood. Having the right clothing is of the utmost importance, staying warm, dry, cool, and comfortable to endure whatever the Pacific wants to throw at me. Thankfully, I'm equipped with AFCO clothing to keep me dialed season after season. Do yourself a favor and check out AFCO's award-winning gear at a dealer near you, or learn more at AFCO.com.
Inside information is everything when it comes to catching fish in Southern California. You need a code group to connect with what's happening on the water. FishDope.com is your code group. Inside information available at your fingertips 7 days a week, 24 hours a day. FishDope.com really does help you catch more fish and burn less fuel. FishDope.com is the only fish finding service with a spotter plane, along with a crew of top anglers on the water almost every day that report actual locations and catches. They become your code group. You get daily catch reports from Point Conception to San Catine, 365 days a year. FishDope.com has online planning tools, temperature and chlorophyll charts, hot bite icons, and more. Take it from me, if you don't have FishDope.com, you're not part of the in-the-know crowd. Membership is affordable and good for an entire year. Plus, use the special code and save $30 on a new FishDope.com membership. Check it out today. FishDope.com. Catch more fish, burn less fuel.
Great fishing is what Seaforth Sports Fishing in Mission Bay is all about. With free parking and fully stocked tackle shop, Seaforth Sport Fishing is a favorite among anglers. Come aboard top boats like the Aztec, Cortez, Endeavor, Apollo, Outer Limits, Elgato Doe, Pride, Polaris Supreme, Tribute, Pacifica, Pacific Voyager, and the Voyager. Plus, the new Seaforth, Sea-Watch, and San Diego offer the finest half and full day trips available. Seaforth Sport Fishing. For charters or schedule, check seaforthlanding.com. Run by fishermen for fishermen in Mission Bay.
Welcome back to Let's Talk Hook. I'm having a great time in here this morning with Todd, author of Rocking the Boat, Adventures of a Marine Investigator.
Yeah.
Different twist to the show today, and how cool. I have really, really been enjoying
Yeah.
it. Great stories, Todd. Having a lot of fun.
You got to read the book. It's
I can't wait.
and I encourage our listeners to buy it. Rocking the Boat, Adventures of a Marine Investigator. And yeah, he's got a lot of
It's fun.
stories.
Yeah, totally.
Got a lot of good stories.
I got a lot of stories.
Yeah, a lot of good stories.
There's another book or two kicking around.
Oh, is there?
I believe
Okay.
That I can't bring myself to do.
Yeah. Well, dictate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Great time. You still have time to get through 213-432-1090 or send us a text. Lots of texts, lots of phone calls this morning. But right now, let's talk to our buddy Ron Lane from Fast Lane Kayaks in Mission Bay. Good morning, Ron.
Hey, Ron.
Hey, good morning, guys. That is an interesting show.
Yeah. isn't it?
75 used to sound old.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Todd.
Yeah. You and I know the feeling, right?
Yeah, and when you were talking about that book yesterday, Pete, I'm really curious about it, and I can't wait to get it now.
Gotta get it.
About the,
It's super
about
cool.
The mafia there.
Yeah, it's super cool. So you've got something pretty amazing going on right now at Fastlane, right?
We do it. You know, this isn't one of those end of season sales. We have a sale going on at the store about our end of season. We're getting rid of some, 23s, 24 boats, but this is a special deal that came up, and it kind of blew my mind, and it's been going off the chart since we got them. The Lynx, the Hobie Lynx, is a really popular lightweight little Mirage drive boat with the 180 drive in it, and they normally sell for around $32.99. I think the new price this year is going to be, they lowered it because they can get them a little cheaper now, is going to be $29.95. But I was able to go up to Hobie because they're shifting some storage places around. They had to get out of a place and they had to sell these boats. And Ava made a great deal with them and got 12 Lynxes, and they're like $1,000 off. They're only $19.95.
No way.
And that's with the 180 drive.
With the 180 drive, they come with a paddle, the seat, the whole deal. It's $19.95. We got 12. We have 9 left, and I was gonna say, well, let's do a text. I go, no, let's get on the radio.
Yeah.
And let's offer this to Pete, because I was at Tackle Days last week, and I saw a couple guys there that I knew were interested in them, and I said, hey, I got these boats coming in this week. You might want to come over and look at them. And sure enough, they're both interested. One bought one, but I got to tell you, this is a rare deal on a premium, model that we have.
The
and if
the
you're
Lynx,
curious about it,
The Lynx is an amazing boat, super stable. It looks like a stand-up paddleboard, but it's not. It's like a full-on ocean-going kayak with a 180 Mirage drive, paddle, the super comfortable seat. What do you call that seat, Ron?
Well, there's the Advantage seat, but that was the one that when the Pro Angler came out, it started that lawn chair style seating that's just so much more comfortable than a kayak.
Oh yeah,
sitting up.
But here's the thing about this boat: it's so stable you can stand on it, and also it weighs 42 pounds to put it, or something like that, right? 42 pounds.
Yeah. When my wife and my daughter can put it easily on top of their cars on a car rack.
Yeah,
that's cool.
It's amazing, and it's a full blown Mirage drive kayak. It's for less than $2,000, it's a bargain.
Especially if that boat normally around $3,300. That's crazy.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
Yeah, but
What
you
a good
only
deal,
have
right?
like 9 of these, right?
9 left. Yeah,
9
and that
left.
was as of last night. And Debbie took a call, and somebody said they'd be in today to get one. So we might have 8. But but if you're interested, and you're going, well, I don't really know about the Lynx, well, just come down and get in mine. We're right on the water there. You can demo it today, anytime today. Just come down. We'll put one in the water. You can pedal around for a few minutes, and you'll go, oh, I get it.
I get it. Yeah.
I mean,
Here's a solution. Easy to transport. Strap it right on the top of your car or put it in the back of your pickup. Put it together instantly with the Mirage drive and go have a great morning or afternoon of fishing.
Our previous caller was saying, what do you do in the winter? You know, new to fishing. What do you do in the wintertime? That's exactly
There you
what
go.
you do. You pick a
Bay
day like
fishing.
today, beautiful day, jump on your Lynx, go cruise around Dana Landing, and stop by, see Johnny and the boys, and get all dialed in on what's the best bay bass lures at the time, and go kick around Mission Bay and go catch a bunch of spotties. That's what you do in the wintertime.
That's what I do. I just run right next door and say, what's biting? And run out there with the latest, greatest. I saw this lure yesterday over there next door, and I go, oh, my God, I got to try that.
Yeah.
But if you jump in a kayak right from my store on the launch ramp, you're in the fishing zone in a minute.
Yeah, that's right. So today you can come down, get one of these Lynx for $19.99. You'll take them out on a free demo, see how stable and easy these things are. You put on Fast Lane Kayaks in Mission Bay, right next to Dana Landing, right across from SeaWorld. That's the place to go. Ron, I'll bet you sell them all.
I got one other thing real quick here, Pete, is the Pro Anglers right now, all 4 models, the 12s and the 14s, are on sale for $700 to $900 off right now.
Whoa.
Jeez.
Whoa. Kind of end of season sale, right?
That's the season sale, yeah. But I ran into these boats, and they're only $32.99 normally, but they're $19.95 right now. I got 9 of them left.
Crazy.
Yeah,
and if you want to come down and you want to get directions, just call us at 619-222-0766.
All right. FastLaneKayaks.com, right?
That's right.
All right. Thanks, Ron. Great to hear from you. Appreciate the call this morning.
All right. Hey, we had a great text.
Thanks, guys.
See you, Ron. We had a great text come through. It says, wow, what a great informative show. I love this direction. Todd, can you speak about some common maintenance practices that should be done when putting the boat away into dry storage for the season? Can you also speak to how deductibles work in the marine business as opposed to car insurance, et cetera? That's from Dan in Pomona.
Yeah. Well, like everything marine, that's a deep subject. The deductibles are deductibles. Same as a car, same as a house. They have a thing called vanishing deductibles now. That's a new marketing deal that the insurance companies have. Depending on who places your policy, who you place your policy with, what company, determines your deductible. As does, again, we were talking about shopping for insurance earlier. You can lower your rates if you increase your deductible amount. And again, I'm not in the marine insurance business. I'm not a broker. I'm not an agent. I don't read any policies, but I can just tell you that if everybody's subject to a deductible, typically, unless you bought a policy that has a vanishing deductible or a no deductible policy. Now, you can get away from that if you want, but you got to buy the right policy. Again, you got to shop with a broker. I would recommend everybody that gets insurance If you go to an agent, is typically like an in-house sales arm,
right,
for the multi-line companies like Allstate and State Farm and Progressive and Geico and all of those. You can do most of that online these days. A lot of the marine insurance companies aren't requiring survey reports anymore. They're
Wow.
doing self-surveys,
Yeah.
which are, saves the customer some money. From my perspective, it's been very good for business.
Yeah, that I can imagine. Christy over at Dawson Insurance Service really knows the ins and outs of a lot of that stuff. So call Christy at Dawson Insurance Services. They know their stuff when it comes to the ins and outs of the buying the right policy for the boat.
It's all about buying the right coverage.
Right.
Balance what you want to pay for premium and deductible versus am I covered for this or not?
Right.
I haven't stopped being nervous since the beginning of the show when you mentioned that Mexico thing. Like I know that we were covered.
It's a real deal now.
I know we were covered in Mexico when we bought our policy. When we got our boat in 2016.
I don't think you are anymore.
We haven't changed it. It's been, not broke, don't fix it. It's been a thing. Like
you might check that out.
The entire show I've been thinking about that. That was a great
because
call.
that's exactly what happened. I was insured with Boat US before. I said, "What's the coverage in Mexico?" Well, we just changed that. Now if you call us before your trip, you could get coverage down to Ensenada, which you're never going to do.
Come on.
So Christy at Dawson Insurance Service found me a policy. It's a little bit more expensive, but it's got me. I'm covered like way down in Mexico now.
Right.
Yeah, which I'm never going to go that far, but at least I don't have to make a phone call before I go.
You said it's a little more expensive. You want to know what's expensive? Having an issue and then realizing you don't have insurance to cover.
Right.
That's what's expensive.
Yeah, exactly. If you're outside of your navigation limit and you have a loss, you're out of luck.
Yeah.
You're totally out of luck.
Totally
no
out of luck.
coverage. That's probably for you. That's an easy game, right? So you go to investigate, you see that they're outside. It's like, okay, my job is done.
Well, the insurance company's still going to investigate it. They're still going to figure out what the nature of your loss was and how it happened. And, because contrary to public opinion, marine insurance companies are different than other insurance companies. They go out of their way to try to find coverage, believe it or not.
Yeah. Hey, Mike is on the tribute. Good morning, Mike.
Hey, Mike. Yo, Mike.
You got me?
Gotcha, buddy. Good morning.
How about now?
Gotcha
Yeah,
now.
Good morning. Yeah, I don't know. Seems like every time I call him in some funky spot. Jimmy's running the boat this morning. We got in. We did a charity event yesterday for the Warriors Foundation. Us, the San Diego, the new Seaforth, Sea-Watch, Pacific Dawn, and the Tomahawk all we're part of a Warriors Foundation charity event yesterday. It was really good rock cod fishing, and the boat's out this morning and they're catching some bluefin. So that's a couple good reasons to call in.
Man, Mike, that's awesome news. We've been talking about it. Still fishing opportunity, and the loads are lighter and the traffic is down, but there's still tuna to be had. Tell us about it.
Yeah, last night's trip went from being full. I think they got out with just a few under, 25 people or 26 people, something like that. And as of right now, it's we'll see what happens. But next weekend still has room on it, which is going to be another good one. Hard to say that far out, but we're getting down to our weather the last few days has been great. It's been a nice change of pace from that couple of weeks of funk that we had. So. I think last I heard they're up to 4 bluefin for the morning. That was about half an hour ago. A little bit of sign, but I would imagine, now with the yellowfin getting a little bit further and becoming more of a long range thing, I would imagine we're going to start seeing these bluefin counts kind of rebound. And, I don't think they've gone anywhere for going close to a decade now.
Yeah, it's a good thing. Yeah. And like you say, more coverage and more boats on it, you'll get back on them. What are the opportunities on the tribute coming up?
We have some weekday trips and weekend. Like I said, I think as of right now, it'd be great to get some of the weekday trips off, but that weekend still has room on it. And give Seaforth a call at 619-224-3383. I'm sure, we'll start getting a little bit of counts back in. The weekends will be filling up. And if we can get some weekdays out, that'd be rad. And then I'll see you next Saturday.
Yes, you'll be right here in the world headquarters next Saturday, talking tribute and bluefin and all that stuff. We're looking forward to that, Mike. Thank you very much for the call this morning and the update. It's still going on, guys. You want to get out there and go fishing for sure. Mike, on the tribute. We'll see you next Saturday right here in the studio.
All right, we'll see you then.
All right,
Mike.
thanks.
Have a good day.
Also want to mention tomorrow,
Yeah.
we have Captain Andy Cates from the Red Rooster 3. Andy's hard to
I
lasso.
was going to say a rare opportunity to pull that guy in.
Quite the character, too. So Andy's always fun. So tomorrow morning, 7 to 9 a.m. right here on Let's Talk Hookup, on the Let's Talk Hookup app, Sports Grid Radio Network, 1090 a.m., YouTube and Facebook Live. You don't want to miss Andy tomorrow.
Maybe the best sense of humor in the sport fishing.
I would say. Yeah,
Andy's
for
got
sure.
it going on. Always fun, always quick with a joke.
Yep.
A fantastic fisherman, a great operator.
Yep.
It stands to be a really good show.
For sure. Dennis in LA has a question. He says, great show. Another fuel tank question. What does a pressure test do for the buyer of a used boat?
Well, that'll a pressure test on the fuel tank.
Right.
Is only going to show you whether or not the fuel tank's got a leak.
Okay. Which is a good thing.
It could be. Sure.
Yeah.
Sure. I mean, it's simple, easy to do.
But where is
typically.
the leak, right? Is the leak in the hose? Is the leak in the connection?
That's
is
right.
the leak in the tank?
That's right.
That's
Yeah.
the determining
If
factor.
you're lucky, you can hear it. You can
okay.
hear. You can, if you pressurize it with a couple of psi of air, you can hear a leak.
Is that a good idea when you're doing a survey to do that?
I would. I've never heard of a surveyor actually doing that.
Oh yeah.
You might have a mechanic do that.
Yeah.
That's something that I would suggest you go to the mechanic for the manufacturer of the engine that you've got.
Okay.
And have him run that whole fuel system from point A to point B.
Oh, okay.
You know, let the mechanic figure out exactly
what's going on
there. I mean, even though the tank is like boat equipment,
right? That's a mechanic's issue.
Yeah. I've never heard of anybody actually pressure testing a tank unless they had a known problem.
Gotcha. All right.
All right. Hey, another great text is, good morning, guys. Question for Todd. When you do a survey, do you also determine value of boat in form of appraisal, or is the survey strictly about conditions of the boat? That's from Ron in Encinitas.
Ron, that's a good question. There's a lot of different kinds of surveys, and what he's referring to is what's known as a condition valuation survey. That's your classic, full-blown, nuts to bolts, including evaluation kind of survey. It's typically a buyer survey. You're going to buy the boat. You're going to have that boat inspected by a qualified surveyor. And as part of that inspection, he's going to do some market valuation and tell you whether or not you're making a good buy or a bad buy, you're overbuying, you're underbuying,
right?
Is it a good deal or not? And again, I would recommend that you hire only accredited marine surveyors, either an AMS from SAMS, Society of Accredited Marine Surveyors, or a CMS from the National Association of Marine Surveyors. Those are the two credentialed. And the reason that's important is that those credentials, to maintain them, require continuing education. So the surveyors are constantly required to go back and get more training.
Gotcha. All right. Let's jump into the phones, Rick.
You got it. How about this time we talk to Hills? He's calling us from Ventura this morning. Good morning, Hills. Welcome to Let's Talk Hookup.
Good morning, you guys. Question for Todd. Have you worked on any of the boat accidents or sinkings that a lot of us, around this area here know about? Like, for instance, the CJ, Jig Strike. I think the Speed Twin crashed into the island.
Prowler.
That was a long time ago.
Yeah, a long time ago.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
I could rattle off a dozen or more. The Prowler was one of them.
Yeah.
We had a very arm's length investigation with the Jig Strike for the insurance company just to determine whether there was going to be a fine for pollution.
Oh,
ironically,
huh.
But we didn't get into it in any depth. A lot of sport fishing boats, commercial boats, passenger vessels for hires. We do that kind of accident and damage investigation. So I guess the answer to your question is, yeah, we do that a lot.
You do that a lot. Yeah. There's in the book, you talk about swordfish shoals.
Yeah.
And that was a swordfish boat that hit San Clemente Island.
Yep. on autopilot, middle of the night, high tide.
Yeah.
And
what amazed me about that is that you ended up taking the boat apart.
Yeah.
Why didn't you just try and float the boat?
Well, we did, but the problem with grounding a boat on an island at high tide is you're way up on the island. You're way up on the rocks.
Yeah.
So to get from where the boat lands to deep water, sometimes you have to go over 2 foot, 3 foot, 6 foot boulders, rocks, whatever, depending on where you want to ground. So it's always best case to try to float the boat and get it out. A lot of times it depends on how big the hole in the bottom of the boat is.
Yeah, sure. But it was interesting in the story, and we're running out of time here, so we have to go quick here. But talking about having them clear ordinances on the island so that you could get on the island and
they ran aground in the live fire sealed training zone.
Yes.
So, you know,
like the worst place you could possibly run aground.
Well, it was worse than that. Not only did they have to clear the beach from ordnance, but there was ordnance in the water as well, that they had to clear.
Yeah.
And then as soon as they got that done, then the archaeologists came in, the botanists came in.
Oh, geez.
The heritage people came in.
Yeah.
I mean, there was a committee of 15 people.
Crazy.
Seems like a very inexpensive, very easy recovery.
Well, it was not.
Yeah.
You know,
Hey, when we come back, we got a lot more Let's Talk Hookup coming your way, including talking more about this great book and finding out who's going to have their own copy. More Let's Talk Hookup coming your way on the Sports Good Radio Network and the Let's Talk Hookup app.
Long-range fishing, nothing beats Shimano. Hi, this is Doug Kern from Fisherman's Landing Tackle, the saltwater tackle professionals. Come check out the Shimano Talica, the pinnacle of lever drag 2-speed reels. The Talica features Shimano's Hagani body. When throwing jigs, the Shimano Trinidad is your top choice. With the extreme cranking power and Shimano's Super Free Spool provides extreme castability. You'll be able to put your jig in the Wahoo zone. All your Shimano needs, visit us at Fisherman's Landing Tackle at Fisherman's Landing in San Diego. The name that stands out among anglers is Fisherman's Landing, your top choice in local and long-range fishing. We offer the finest open party trips from 1 to 3 days, the best charter boats available, and of course, our world-renowned long-range fleet. Fisherman's Landing offers half-day trips on the Dolphin and full-day trips on the Liberty. Many trips can be easily booked online at fishermanslanding.com. I'll see you at Fisherman's Landing in San Diego.
This is Captain Tim Ekstrom from the long-range vessel Royal Star. With my partners Randy Toussaint and Brian Sims, we have set the bar for the long-range fishing experience. Spring 8-day, summer 5-day, or a fly-down, fly-back 11-day winter trip, we deliver the highest quality long-range voyage you will find. From our premium RSW fish storage to our top-of-the-line chefs and crew, Royal Star distinguishes itself from all others. Want to grab a spot on the Royal Star? Check us out at RoyalStarSportFishing.com or call Tracy at 619-224-4764.
When it comes to fishing rods for saltwater, there's just one name you need to know, CalStar. Take, for example, the Graphiter series. It's a true graphite and fiberglass composite rod, the finest it's ever been built. And for anglers seeking traditional performance, durability, and quality at an affordable price, the CalStar West Coast series of rods and blanks are the ones for you. Their master craftsmen bring decades of rod building experience to every rod they make. So if you want your fishing rods to be truly state-of-the-art, I always recommend CalStar at fine tackle stores everywhere.
If there's one thing we like, it's choices. And your San Diego County Ford dealers is the place to start. With a full lineup of vehicles and available powertrains, get your ideal combination of power and capability with gas, hybrid, or all electric. But more important than the power you choose is what you choose to do with it. Visit your San Diego County Ford dealers today. They'll be glad to hook you up.
Well, how fast did this 2 hours go by? This was
have
great.
to have Todd back with more stories.
No doubt, Todd. Well, a great time, and you're going to do us the honor flipping that prize coin, seeing who's winning the book and the trip, and it is going today to a texter. Congratulations, Dan in Pomona. You've got a copy of that great Rockin' the Boat Adventures of a Marine Investigator, and you're going fishing on board the Liberty at a Fisherman's Landing. Congratulations.
Read the book. I'm telling you,
Yeah,
you
it's
really
really cool.
enjoy it. I mean, we just really very quickly covered it, and he's going to autograph it right now.
Yeah.
Todd's going to autograph
Dan
it
in
to
Pomona.
Todd. Dan in Pomona, yeah. And thank you very much, Todd. Again, if we want the book, is it best to get it on Amazon?
Best to get it on Amazon.com. Just keyword search Todd Schwede, Schwede.
Yeah, it was relatively easy to find. Available on Kindle as well as hardcover and paperback. And also, if we want to do some marine investigating or some surveying, your company,
Todd and Associates. We're based here in San Diego, but we work nationwide and have for a number of years. So
really, really great.
This was awesome.
So many good
I
stories.
loved it.
I'm
Great.
telling you that the stories this guy has. I mean, we could go on for hours.
Oh yeah, we just barely scratched the surface.
Yeah, we barely scratched the surface.
Yeah.
No, and he's got some good stories and going there. But thank you very much for coming in today, Todd. Appreciate
Thank you
that.
for
Thanks
having
for the
me.
books. And thanks to JP for manning the phones and the board back there. And of course, thanks to Adam for all he does on the Let's Talk Hookup app. And thank you out there, your phones, your calls, your texts. We really appreciate you. And we will be back tomorrow morning, 7 to 9 a.m. Captain Andy Cates from the Red Rooster 3 will be here. That's going to be a fun show, 7 to 9 a.m. right back here on 1090 a.m., the Let's Talk Hookup app, Sports Grid Radio Network, YouTube, and Facebook Live. All right, see you later. Goodbye. Bye.
We out.
We're good. Great job, man. That was fun.
Oh, good. Well, thank you. Thank you.
Thanks, JP.